This part of the playlist will show you how to use banking within QuickBooks Online. So from the dashboard, you can access banking in two ways. You can either click on the bank account section here to take you to a particular account, or you can use the sidebar by clicking on banking. Both take you to exactly the same place. So first you'll be presented with these two boxes, and these are the two accounts that you have linked directly with a bank account within QuickBooks Online. So for example, here I have my current account. I can see the bank balance. Now this is the balance that pulls through directly from your online banking. So this should be relatively live as long as you've updated quite regularly. You can see here this was updated 7 days ago, so it might need doing. We recommend that you update your bank up to every week, depending on the amount of transactions that you have within that week. The second part here is the In QuickBooks Balance. So this is what QuickBooks believes your bank balance to be based on the transactions you have allocated within the system. This should equal the same amount as your bank balance once you have allocated all of your transactions from the bank feed. And if it doesn't, there may be something that's slightly out and you might have to prepare a reconciliation. The other figure that you'll see in this box is this little number in amber. This is the amount of transactions that have pulled through directly from your bank account, but you haven't actually dealt with yet within QuickBooks Online. So these need to be allocated against maybe an invoice, a bill, or to a certain expense account. To update your bank on a regular basis, there is a button up here that normally would say update. Obviously this is a dummy account, so I haven't linked any bank directly, but once you've connected your account, this button here will say update, which you click on. It may ask for additional login details, and you'll know whether that is the case. A little box will come up here just below your bank accounts to say that it requires a complete secure connection. You'll just need to put in some login details, or maybe a PIN if you have like a PIN century machine. So the next section down here, you have 3 tabs. One is the For Review tab, the In QuickBooks and Excluded. So first of all, we'll look at the For Review. All of these transactions in here basically have pulled through directly from your bank account, however you haven't allocated them as of yet. So these transactions correlate to this figure up here, which you can also see in this tab here. So you will need to go through and look through these transactions and bookkeep them as effectively as possible. There is also a Recognise tab here, which comes up once you start using the system, where you can set up bank rules, which we'll cover in a little while, as well as QuickBooks recognising or making a guess to where you'd like to send a certain transaction based on what you've allocated previously. So you may have used that supplier before, so it might make a guess at where you're going to put that transaction. It can be quite helpful to look at this Recognise tab before you start on this All tab here to get rid of some of the ones you may think that you know. The next tab is the In QuickBooks tab, and these are all the transactions that have already been allocated into your QuickBooks account and also effectively been book kept. So these may, as I said, be matched against an invoice, a bill. You may have allocated them as an expense. It may be a bank transfer. There are a number of things and a number of transactions that can appear in here. You can actually, as obviously time goes on, this list will get longer. You can use this filter button here as well to filter through dates. So if you're looking for a particular transaction, you can use that there as well. This Excluded tab shouldn't necessarily be used unless you've been instructed otherwise, but this section here will include anything that you have omitted from your bookkeeping. So if a transaction has pulled through in error twice in your For Review section, you don't want a duplication, so you may choose to exclude that out. The other really important thing here is this In QuickBooks tab. You can actually look at what transactions you've inputted into the system as well through the Go to Account History link here. And this will give you a link to all the transactions that have been inputted to the bank account. These transactions with the green icon next to them have been pulled through directly from your bank feed, and that's the way they have been allocated. The ones that don't have the green icon next to them are ones that have been manually entered, usually by the plus icon up here and adding an expense, for example. So you might want to look out for those ones when you're doing your reconciliation at a later stage, but you can also have a look at what's in your QuickBooks through the account history link.